With the 2022 political battle lines drawn, and the Mount Kenya Foundation has chosen their preferred candidate, and that is Raila Amolo Odinga, under Azimio la Umoja initiative. The question is, how influential is the Mount Kenya Foundation? Well, as it has always been our norm in the Insight, tonight we are going to give answers even to the questions that otherwise you will not have known how to ask. And of course, in the bench tonight, I have three guests who, of course, have got vast knowledge and understanding of the political world in Kenya. And of course, they are going to help us through their eyes. We are going to understand the political developments, how they fold and unfold in Kenya. And of course, we have three faces. My first guest tonight is John Wesonga Mangeni. John Wesonga Mangeni is the chairman of Mathare Community Center Library. And of course, he is a politician. Samuel Getembe is my second guest. Tonight, he is a governance expert, man who is in governance. And of course, we have Odwe Kennedy, who is a political and governance enthusiast. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for accepting my invite for the show tonight. And let me just start with you, Mr. Mangeni. Azimio la Umoja Dream has received an endorsement from the Mount Kenya tycoons. Let me say so. They have opted for Raila a presidency and not the One Kenya Alliance. What does this portend going forward in the succession politics?
First, Eugene, let me first say thank you for inviting me to this show. And secondly, inform the viewers that I don't speak for maybe Mount Kenya Foundation, but I somehow am a member of United Democratic Alliance Party, and I will speak from that angle. Let us put it as it is. Mount Kenya Foundation, their business and interest in politics is what you can define as pure political conmanship. This is whereby you want to confuse politicians so that they stop focusing on issues that are political issues and address them with the people. Then they rather now start concentrating on who can finance me. So I talk about the one financing. And from where I look at it, of course, One Kenya Alliance, I think it's a done deal. They are dead. It is a matter of time before they join Mzee Baba and Mount Kenya Foundation, because they are feeding all of them. They're feeding all of them. That's why I say conmanship there. So my eyes and my prediction is that One Kenya Alliance will fold itself to something else or go under Baba. But Mount Kenya Foundation is not going to give anyone presidency of this country.
The Azimio la Umoja Dream, Mr. Odweyo, how does this come about? The Azimio la Umoja, and of course now we have the Mount Kenya. And how does even this endorsement change the 2022 game plan? And why would you think that they, instead of Oka, chose Raila as their preferred candidate?
Thank you so much, Eugene. I also want to take this opportunity to appreciate this opportunity to be here. We thank God and also thank GBS. It's good to have such platforms. The Mount Kenya Alliance is a cabal of businessmen. These are businessmen who are hell-bent on protecting their interests. It's unfortunate that in a democracy where power is supposed to be with the people, there are few people who think they can sit a room and determine who becomes the president. There are few people who sit down, there are 10, 5, 7 people who sit down and decide so-and-so is going to become the president on behalf of 50 plus million Kenyans. It's unfortunate, it's unconstitutional, because if I'm a candidate in the 2022 elections, a parliamentary aspirant in Butula, I'm going to the people. I'm not going to a few people to impose them. Uitwizing is a case where some people are trying to impose a candidate on the people. On the other side, what is their influence? Their influence is premised on the fact that Kenyan politics has always been hedged on resources Money has always driven. So there's always this perception that whoever has the money has the votes. Because in Kenya, democracy is supposed to be, democracy is not in the voting, democracy is in the counting. And it's always said whoever controls the system that counts the votes is the one who determines the winner. We've lived in a system where we've always heard about these issues about the deep state and the system. They exist in every dispensation. So that is what is informing their decision, informing their perception that they, because of the resources they hold, we are told they control the economy. Yeah, we are told they contribute, 60% of the GDP. Yeah, so that is what is guiding their decision, to think that once they have made a decision, then everyone else will fall in place. Why Raila? Because, on the other side we have William Ruto. I'm not even discussing the Oka guys, because Oka, One Kenya Alliance in Kiswahili is Azimio la Umoja. So that is one and the same thing. Ni vile you have a number one striker, akipata injury, you go for the second. So One Kenya Alliance was an alternative for the same people in case they don't agree with Baba. Now that they have agreed with Baba, now these ones have to fold. If you are the number two striker and the number one is fit, you'll have to wait on the bench, support the team.
Why not Oka? Why Raila Amolo Odinga?
That's where I was coming to.
Yes.
On the other side, we have William Ruto. So to defeat William Ruto, or to have any chance of defeating William Ruto, you have to go for a mobilizer. You need a man with equal people-powered strength that can comfortably challenge William Ruto on the ballot. The only person with the ability and the numbers, age might not be on his side, he might not have the energy, but the truth is, the former Prime Minister still controls a constituency independently that he can come with on the table. And that's why when they were sitting on the table, when the Mount Kenya Mafia was interviewing people, Baba came and said, I have this number of votes, I have the Luo nation behind me. Wherever in the country. Can Mudavadi promise the same from the Luo nation? Can Kalonzo promise the same with Kivuta on one side, Ngilu, everyone is taking their share. So they went for Baba because one, Baba has a consolidated constituency, and then two, Baba has the resources, the image, and the aura to mobilize people. Because on the other side, we have a man with the energy, a man who can work for 72 hours without sleeping. To counter that man, you need someone who already has, for Baba, Baba is more about his history. You'll wake up and you'll be told he fought for the second liberation, he was jailed for 9 years. There are people who will associate, he brought us the new constitution. So he has a history, he has something to sell, as opposed to the other guys. Because you have nothing, basically you have nothing to mention about the other guys. Okay. So those are some of the things that informed them settling on Mount Kenya, because you can hedge on Baba. Baba is someone who can take it to the wire with William Ruto.
Okay, Mr. Samuel Getembe, you've heard how they just spoken and articulated what they've just said, and it seems like Oka is dead to them. Can you just write Oka off completely from the succession politics matrix? Don't you see that they have actually, they can influence the 2022 succession?
Thank you very much, Mr. Eugene, for inviting me today. And allow me pass greetings to the Kenyans who are watching this show tonight. And also take the opportunity to thank many Kenyans, because nowadays people are making a decision, and always decisions. It is not like the time that you were before. Even up to days we tell people, even upon companies, governance remains the key thing. People want to see who is bringing something on the table. Even to the families, people are nowadays asking, what are you bringing on the table? I have heard how my colleagues have talked about Oka. Even Oka, how is it formed? You see, you need also to understand, how is it formed, who are forming it, and who are the people drumming from the side of the Oka. You can try to find a few people, individuals, sitting in a room and making a decision. So of which you say, if these individuals fall, who is the Oka in the next time? So it's something that you can try and see. As much as possible, these people are pushing for the Oka. But I can tell you, there is no united in Oka. Because everybody is on an interest. And as much as you can be able to see, this interest is also based about numbers. Because today, assume Oka are left on their side. I can tell you they will fall even before 6 a.m. in the morning. So that's why they have to get attached to somebody who is a Baba. And I know without Baba, actually, I can say today, Oka is not there. It's not there without Baba. So my point and take tonight is to say that Oka, we are actually waiting for its fall. Not even today, like yesterday.
Okay, let me ask this to Mr. Mangeni. You come from, in as much as you are in UDA, but you come from the Western. And of course, let me ask you this simple question. Who is Atwoli?
No, Eugene, I didn't see that coming.
Yes.
And before and Atwoli's answer is very easy, but before I go to Atwoli, yes. I think let me say that this Mudavadi in Oka,
yes,
because Oka look like sisters.
Yes.
You know, maybe you can use the word three-bearded sisters, but one of these sisters looks like can talk better than the other two sisters. But the other two sisters, definitely, they are not in the presidency issue. Mudavadi could be, and maybe give it to him, he might find himself up to the end of the journey in a different thing, maybe not Oka. You asked me, yes, I'm from Western, a young man from Western, Atwoli, honestly, and to be fair enough, in Western Kenya, we don't know Atwoli. We don't know Atwoli.
How do you say you don't know Atwoli? Atwoli the other time was saying that there are only 3 most influential people in Kenya.
Yes.
And that was, of course, the president. If not the president, that is Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yes.
And if the two are not there, and of course, the third most influential is Atwoli himself.
No. Give it to him. Atwoli has the best ego ever. The best ego ever. Give it to him. But you know, sometimes you will not just meet a drunkard somewhere. Saying that he's the president of Kenya, and then you follow that drunkard.
Okay, the pro-handshake Western team
actually
had endorsed Atwoli as the Western spokesperson. Atwoli had said, the trade union secretary has said that they're convening a meeting actually in December 31st at the Pukungu Kakamega Stadium. And the conversation that is said is a conversation to know who are they going to support for the 2022.
Take this to any nearest bank.
Yes.
There is no spokesman for the Luya chosen by the Luya. There is none. There is none. I've participated in none. And I know Western Kenya Luyas have not participated in electing or choosing or nominating, appointing, or even dreaming, even Atwoli. None. Take this to any bank. And I can tell you for sure, Atwoli calls his own meeting, talks in the meeting, asks questions, answers the questions, asks people to vote, he himself votes alone, then says, I won. So it is okay for him to call himself a spokesman, but I can tell you for sure he's a spokesman somewhere in Kajiado, but not in Luya. That go in any Luya place. I'm not lying. It's not just because I'm in UDA. No, the truth. And if Western is going to discuss politics, watch this space. Watch it. Young people are not going to follow this rhetoric of these old men who have exhausted everything. They have nothing left apart from talking. We are not going to go with them. No one is going with them.
So what is the way? Let me get this from you. So can we write off the influence of Atwoli in Western?
You know,
Honestly,
we were mentioning the Mount Kenya Mafia, the Mount Kenya Foundation.
Yes.
Sorry. Politics in central Kenya is organized around the economy. That is the opposite of politics in Nyanza and Western, where politics is about status. You want to look big in funerals, and you want to go contribute, and then a few people can dance around for you. I'm describing Atwoli using that word because these are people who just, as long as people are dancing around for you, you pay a few people. Atwoli is like a blogger. Being famous does not mean you have any influence. You can pay people to trend your name online. Atwoli has no influence. If Atwoli was to be eliminated today from this world, how many Luyas? If you go to the village, how many people even know what Atwoli does? Nothing. I'm bringing that comparative to just let you know that for you to have influence, you must have the instruments that impact on people's lives. When we go, I like referring to the Mount Kenya region. When you see someone like Peter Munga, James Mwangi, SK Macharia speak, those are people with instruments that impact the lives of the people of the mountain. So when Peter Munga stands up to speak, there's someone in that home watching TV, or when SK Macharia, there's someone who is watching Inoro, who is watching Citizen, whose child is working for Equity, whose child has benefited from the Equity Foundation, whose child is working for Kameme. What has Atuoli done in Western that can give him the power to think he can control anything? Yes. Nothing. Okay. That is how power is organized. Power is organized around resources. If you don't have a voice or anything that you are bringing to your people, which power do you have? Okay. When you want to elect a spokesperson, you don't invite them in your home, you feed them your food, you give them fare, and then you say they have elected you as a spokesperson. So when you talk of a declaration, as he said something, Western, they have, everyone is on their own, and I'm speaking as someone who is also contesting there. Everyone is in their own. And that's why at the moment, in the 2022 elections, the Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto, if he's on the ballot, he will get votes. If Raila Odinga is on the ballot, he will get votes. Even if Mutua is on the ballot, he will get votes. If Kalonzo is on the ballot, everyone will get. Because Western, I call it, there are people who may see it as lack of unity. There are others who will see it as democracy because it's about anyone. If you can convince me, why should I not vote for you? Okay. So at the moment, anyone who comes forward and tells you that he's the spokesperson of the Luhya nation, he's the Mlembe kingpin, that one is a fraud that must be dismissed with all the energy available in this world.
Okay, let me ask you this, Mr. Mangeni. In the rest for State House, heating up, of course, the running mate consideration is gaining momentum. And just the other time while the Deputy President Ruto was in Nyeri County, actually he hinted the Madeira MP Rigathi Gachagua can be a better, can be actually a running mate, because he said that, look, this guy is loyal and is hardworking, amongst many other things that he said. But despite all this, we know so far that the guy has been involved in some scandals involving money. What do you make of this? Talking about the deputy or the running mate of the deputy president.
What I know is that the deputy president William Ruto, who is the party leader, de facto party leader of UDA, has not yet declared a running mate. However, Honorable Gachagua is a man who has achieved a lot. He has a lot of experience in civil service and also in business. You've mentioned that he has been implicated in scandals here and there. He has an active case, ongoing case. I think it has been postponed also. It has not been concluded. And from what I know and I've seen it ever since the two brothers shook hands, they went for anyone who seemed like would be a friend of William Ruto. And so right now, it is not easy to understand if really the allegations that someone is being taken to court for, if they are even true. Because right now we are suffering because there are many, many allegedly corruption cases in court, but with no substance. So I know Honorable Gachagua, you see, he's also a believer. He believes in hustler nation. He believes in bottom-up politics. And you see, he's a good debater. He explains it very well. So I will not have a problem if time comes and it is Gachagua that comes out as the guy. Because you have to earn it. To be a running mate, for example, for someone like William Ruto, you really have to earn it. This is a guy who will get his votes because he's looking for them. So you're not coming just because you're bringing votes. You're also coming because you're bringing some substance. You have some mind of your own. So I think Gachagua fits also the bill. But there are many, many other people who might fit also the bill. And William Ruto, yes, will come time that he will have his own right to choose someone he thinks is fit enough, believes in this bottom up. But what we are sure, someone will come from UDA as a running mate, not outside UDA. So Gachagua and many others in UDA it is in order. If they are looking for that, salivating for that, it's in order. They need to bring their brains and minds on how to shape the bottom-up economic politics, which is what we want to push forward. So he's very much in order if he's a hopeful. But that statement, yes, looks like somehow that DP is hinting, but maybe we are reading too much because it was in Nyeri. This is his place, and it is in order when we go there, I can mention you there. But however, it's allowed. Media and all of us, we like reading too much, and we want to push the deputy president to a certain corner. But as it is, he has not appointed anyone. That does not mean Gachagua is not fit enough. He is also fit.
Okay, let me ask you this, Mr. Getembe. Is this saying that, of course, we might be reading too much from this, but be it as it may, let me ask you, in choosing a leader, actually, the Constitution is very clear on speaking about integrity. That is Chapter 6 of the Constitution. We look at these leaders who have been implicated in corruption or in scandals. Are they fit, actually, from where you sit as a governance expert? Do they fit to be leaders of this nation, actually?
Thank you very much, Mr. Eugene. Allow me to say this one, because as much as possible, you can say somebody is corrupt, somebody is tribalistic, somebody is not fit for the office. You see, our constitution is very much clear. That is only the court can set you to be through. Because if you have a case that is pending, we cannot come today here and say Honorable so-and-so is a corrupt guy, because the case is not finished. So it's unless now the judiciary of Kenya do their justice to us as Kenyans. Let them tell us, this guy is not fit for the election. You have seen many cases, I think it's the other countries who have gone on far advanced in leadership and governance, where if you are not fit for the leadership, especially if you have been found maybe in an act of corruption, you can be kicked off. But in the government of Kenya, and even as a country, we still lag behind. We are not in that position that if you are found on a scandal, you have to now keep aside. If you stop me today, assume let me see that I've said the people have said that I've stolen something, I go to court. Our court in Kenya takes 3 to 4 years to finish the case. So this one cannot stop you or cannot stop you from vying in any election. So what I can say is that really we need to work much, especially our judiciary should work much hand in hand, especially with our IBC. Like IBC today can never disqualify somebody on grounds that is people say is a thief. Can people wake up and call you a thief? No. So my intake today as a governance expert, I can say, is that let judiciary do justice to Kenyans. Let them work in hand with the government institutions, like the IPOA that is there for the security purposes. We have this other one that is the anti-corruption, the EACC also there, and also the ECK. Let them work together. Let them verify. If this guy is not fit for the office, let him be disqualified. Because even as a country, I cannot encourage people to choose somebody who his standing is not good. We need somebody, when people mention about his name is clear. His name is clean from everywhere. So we still have a challenge in Kenya. And for us to solve this challenge, let all the arms of the government work on transparency and ensure that through the judiciary, we have justice to Kenyans, and for Kenyans to have a right to choose the leaders who have no integrity questions. I have seen my friend Alfred Mutua mention several times that if you're being mentioned on any case of corruption, step aside. But do we step?
But I just want to jump in a little bit. Even in you used an example of Alfred Mutua. I want to tell you and challenge you or here, mention any presidential hopeful currently, aspirants, anyone who has not been mentioned behind any scandal. I can do a list of all of them, including Alfred Mutua. You know, he still has an issue of the ambulance issues. He still has that story of the ambulance issue and the 1 kilometer road that he was doing roads, and people are now questioning. All of them.
Okay, Ruto which one?
I'm telling you, all of them.
Ruto which one?
Do you want to start from the top first?
Okay, you may start.
Let me start
from a few.
Yeah, I just mentioned a few.
Yeah.
So we know Baba and Triton and Molasses. Ruto is being.
What happened with Molasses?
But you know, they are not here to defend for themselves.
Yes, mentioning. We are saying about being mentioned, because this even the ones you're saying is only mentioned, because none of them has been successfully maybe taken anyway. You know, do you know, by the way, the maize issue that William Ruto was being implicated as a minister? Do you know it turned back to the real maize people who were behind it?
Okay, well, there is no. We are not actually discussing corruption because we do not have people who can counter the argument for now. But let us now look at one issue before we go for a short break. Dr. William Ruto, unlike in Azimio Umoja, where Raila Amolo Odinga is talking of strengthening of political parties, different political parties, let us come together, let us work together and forge a common working environment where we can come and discuss. You talk about your people and come with your party. Let us talk together. Unlike in Azimio Umoja, we're now seeing Dr. Ruto, William Samoei Ruto, telling that anyone who wants to join him must fold their parties and join UDA. Why is that? Don't you think that this can even work against him?
No, one thing is, first, I don't know if Azimio Umoja is a party, or I don't know what it is.
Yes.
But I think it's a statement, populist statement made to hoodwink people. So it does not exist.
Okay.
But when it comes to being the politics of political parties, what William Ruto is doing is exactly what should be done and what the Constitution says. A political party has been allowed to negotiate, but has structures on how to negotiate, not just roadside negotiations. If you're a leader of a political party, you must sell and advance the party. William Ruto is doing is making UDA a party. And Kenya will go very far if we go back to 1992, when political party was KANU and Ford Kenya. And that made a vibrant politics. Serious politics was done there. Developmental politics, ideological differences were seen in political parties. We want UDA on the other side. We have our bottom up. We want ODM to shape themselves, to become a serious party. Azimio will make ODM die. It will not be there. By the way, ODM is going to die because of this business that they are going on with. And all these other parties you think they are being called to become political parties, they will end up being kiosks, not parties. So for the future of political parties in Kenya, I beg ODM, go as ODM. Then you face UDA, and then we tackle you fair and square.
Let me give you a chance to delve in a bit before we go for a short break.
On the call for the parties to fold up.
Yes.
As a person, I mentioned I'm an aspirant and I'm an independent candidate. I believe in, as a politics is about, when you're seeking a political position, you're marketing yourself like any other product. You have to build a brand. When you build a brand, you have to build value in yourself with which to advance and attract that value. That's how you win a position. Dr. William Ruto, what I can say about him is that where he is now and with his UDA, I can say he's a guy who has created that brand that he is and that UDA is. I don't have a problem with me as a self-made person declaring that if you want to join my team, these are the terms. We know we need to professionalize our politics. Professionalization will bring the ideologies in politics that we need, such that if you want us to do business, these are the angles within which we'll do business. This is how we operate. There's nothing wrong with me saying for you to join me, this is how we want to work. Terms and conditions apply everywhere. Sometimes you see coalitions. The reason why some of these people, they are not embracing coalitions out of will. Coalitions, sometimes for me, I feel like they are weaknesses, a sign of a weakness. You believe you can't do it on yourself. So you need people to push you, to support you. And that's why you have to compromise to a point where, you know, there is something called accommodating without compromising. But you see, when you accommodate, when you concede to a point where you are no longer recognizable, then as a person, I don't see leadership in you. As a person, I don't see any problem with Daktari deciding this is how we want to do it. Democracy is about having systems. Other than the people, is about having systems. And the first system of democracy is a political party. When you talk of strengthening political parties, and we know that ODM itself is a one-man show. The other day, Tim Wanyonyi, a very brilliant person that all people know, was declaring his candidature for the Nairobi governorship. And George Ladwa said, whoever Baba decides, or whatever Baba decides. When you come out, when you're saying we are strengthening democracy and political parties, and all decisions are put in one man's pocket,
Okay, actually,
is that democracy?
We're talking specifically on UDA, because we are not here because there's no one who is coming from ODM to counter that. And of course,
I don't
that
now.
takes us to a short
I
break.
don't
Of
come
course,
from.
we are coming shortly to that. We are, gentlemen, we are going. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going for a short break, but of course, when we will be coming back, we'll be having much more on the show tonight. Of course, you can keep on with the conversation, and that is 21144. That is our SMS line. Of course, at GBS TV Africa, at Eugene Ochieng. That is where you find us. And of course, this is a deliberate conversation made for you just to understand the political developments in the country and even beyond. Welcome back to the Insight. Of course, we have three gentlemen here. We're talking about politics and, of course, a deliberate conversation. Gentlemen, let me ask you this question. Well, to you, Mr. Samuel Getembe, Majority Leader, that is Amos Kimunya, has gone to Parliament. Of course, there's a bill that he wants to be passed. That is under the Political Parties Act, that coalitions be recognized in Parliament as parties. Now, my question is that is coalition formation now, what do you think actually from this bill? And is the coalition formation the deathbed of multi-party democracy?
You see, Mr. Eugene, actually what we expect from there,
yes,
we expect that of crisis to happen. Because now today, people who want to wake up from a political party. Tomorrow you want it to be recognized in Parliament, surely. Are we losing our direction and sense? Because many people are forming a party nowadays. Even yourself today, even myself today, I'm allowed to form a political party. And then you see now we should be having now a lot of political parties in Parliament to be recognized for what? We have sent our researchers in Parliament. They should go there and debate our ideas. They should go there and represent us fully. Because now, telling us now all these parties to be recognized in the Parliament, because for myself, I know we have a ruling party.
According to the bill, is that when you guys form a coalition, because a coalition is coming up of many parties, when many parties come together to join workforce and force for a common ground, maybe in achieving the same goal. So when they come together, these parties, they be recognized as an alliance, they be recognized as a political party, not as an alliance. What do you think about this actually?
No. I think from my side, I suggest that if possible, and I wish that bill to fall, because I don't expect where there's like alliances are formed today and they want to be recognized as political parties. And most of these cases, you see, these alliances, once they're being formed, if they are not going to agree on some terms and bases, you see some people pulling off. Hoka was formed the other day. What if we could have recognized Hoka today in Parliament and some people say don't want Hoka? And even as you can see even today, people are even like they are forced to be part of Hoka. No, they want to be there because of that one Kenya Party Alliance. Some of them are there because of political gains. And now, as times goes by, if they're not going to agree, these guys are going to move out of these coalitions. What are we going to do? We bring another bill to remove them from the political parties. You see now, the political parties in Kenya, they have a way of which they're being registered in the political parties of Kenya. And we have somebody who is guiding in it. So if we start now giving Parliament another mandate now to be now recognizing these the alliances as parties, I see to my side it might bring some chaos later in Parliament, because we shall be having many coalitions being formed, even others which are not being recognized at some point.
Mr. Dwe.
Yes. You see, we have a democracy that is anchored. I mentioned one of the key instruments of democracy is political parties. Actually, the problems we have with IEBC can be solved at the political party level. These things you are talking about, people with cases and or integrity chapter 6 issues, they will be solved at the political party level if we had functional institutions in the name of political parties. As a person, my only reservation is we have political parties that are supposed to be ideological. You are supposed to go to parliament with an ideology, with something you want to execute. Why should a coalition become a party? Because a coalition is supposed to be a temporary arrangement to execute a specific objective. Mm-hmm. For example, in 2013, in 2013 there was URP and TNA. Mm-hmm. The objective was we come together, we form an alliance and go into, it became Jubilee Alliance. Mm-hmm. But in 2013, 2017, 2016, they realized, you know, as parties are independent entities that have their own objectives. So to ensure that we don't have this clash and confusion and conflict of interest from these individual parties, we form one party so that we decide this is the agenda. We have one center of, one reporting center. We have a leadership structure that is organized and known, recognizable by the law. Whether functional or not is another story, so that you know who to hold accountable. Now when you are registering this coalition, you know, it's an indirect dissolution of parties. My only question is, why will we go to an election to start dissolving parties when already in parliament? Now that is how we'll be killing our democracy. Because you cannot tell me that, you know, politics has become a business. So if I know that I'll get one seat, and then when I come to this government, when I become a member of this, I'll qualify for certain benefits. That will be a very wrong step to take.
Okay, Mr. Mangeni, what do you say about this as you wrap these political parties?
Kimunya is just speaking for Mount Kenya Foundation in their wider scheme of confusing the Mudavadi, Kalonzo, Tangula team, the Oka team. They're being confused. They're being made to believe that when they'll enter a deal with Raila Odinga, it will be a done deal and he will not jump out of the deal. You see, this is the promise they're being sold to. So Kimunya is just part of the game. But let me tell you, he's lying to them. There's enough in terms of law on how coalitions are managed. There's a law. You will deposit your coalition agreement, if it's post or pre. So that is there. Kimunya is simply doing what we call game of chairs. So he's playing Mudavadi and Kalonzo and the rest to believe that you are going to tell Raila that he'll go one term, and then we're going to tell him that you must be, because remember Wetangula was removed from minority seat despite the other agreement. So now they're trying to tell Wetangula, no, this time we will make it, it will be in law, so he will not remove you because you will be one team. This is a big lie. You'll never, our constitution recognizes political parties. You can never bring another thing that confuses and tries to remove the power of political parties in parliament. If you've gone as independent, your independence will remain there. If you have gone as a political party, your political party will be there. So these lies is to help the three bearded sisters of Oka. They are the ones being lied to, not the rest of us. So Kimunya can continue lying to them if they so believe. But I know they're experienced enough to know that is mchezo inachezwa.
The deputy president is on record actually telling of public servants who are seemingly engaging in politics that we are the people that formed the government, and you people should not involve yourself in politics. It is we who should be involving ourselves in politics. And so this begs the question, what is actually the role of the generally public servants? We have the governors and even civil servants in this. Generally, before we go down to civil to public, generally public servants. If you leave alone, we have governance and we have also the cabinet secretaries. So what do you think is actually the role they are going to play in the succession of politics?
You see, thank you very much once again, Eugene. Many of these cabinet secretaries, governors, and most of them, as much as possible, maybe one party can be saying they're bringing early campaigns. You see, I still continue to blame our constitution much because it is not that much clear at any given point which a cabinet secretary, when he's in a meeting with the deputy president or is in a meeting with Baba or anybody else, is in a campaign. You see, it is not that very much well stipulated and clearly because somebody can challenge you today. If we have a meeting here today and I'm CS for water, and the deputy president and maybe say maybe somebody has come to launch the project in my constituency. You see, me, I'll still stand up and talk about these politics and talk about these things and blah, blah, and everything on there. And as much as cases, you try to get that most of these cabinet secretaries have been, like I can say, about installations by the people of the team which the government is supporting. Because the government needs cabinet secretaries who are able to make it run smoothly. And most of these people are being formed by some of these who are allies. We have seen cases in Kenya where cabinet secretaries, those who have maybe run for governors and they fail, they're being picked up to be CS. What do you mean? Don't you think that this person will still continue to drum for your side? So there's much I can say about that one. And unless our constitution is very much clear and now tell us that cabinet secretary should not involve, because it just is silent, just says cabinet secretary should not involve in active politics. But at which circumstances can we say this is an active politics? Which circumstance? You get my point? And as much as possible, these cabinet secretaries also, they have an interest. They also wish to support somebody at any given point. If this person becomes the president, reinstalls them as the cabinet secretaries and also moves them to different departments.
Okay. Mister, what do you think? Is the deputy president actually right in telling these guys not to involve themselves in politics?
I think that's why I see the double speak and the hypocrisy. I feel some hypocrisy on the side of the deputy president, because in the run-up to the 2017 elections, the same cabinet secretaries that he's complaining that they are campaigning for someone else were campaigning for them. So as a person, it's hypocritical for the deputy president to come out now, and that's why I say in Kenya, it's right when it serves me and it's wrong when it doesn't. So that is a very bad precedent to set. On the other side, I feel like cabinet secretaries and all public servants are appointed to serve all Kenyans. Politics should be for politicians. Politicians are allowed to take any position that serves their interest. Anyone appointed or elected or as a public servant, a civil servant actually, or state officer, okay, there's some confusion in the constitution anyway. That person is supposed to serve all Kenyans. You see, as an MP for Butula, I'm supposed to serve the people of Butula. And I can come here and when I come here, my job is to champion for. When I'm elected on a party, I must also advance the ideals of the party, support my party leader. But as a cabinet secretary, the moment you are appointed to serve all Kenyans. The moment you demonstrate a bias towards a certain candidate, politics is a game of interests. When there is that open bias, there's a possibility that that person that you are biased towards can convince you to allocate resources to their side as opposed to the whole country. That's where the problem comes in, and that's why the constitution, as unclear as it is, had tried to mention that these people are supposed to. Can you imagine a director? It's the same. Our politics is organized and mobilized around tribes and regions. So there's a possibility. Can you imagine a director in a certain government institution supposed to approve something? There is that thinking that if he's aligned to this group, then there's a possibility that he'll be biased towards, and that's why we say public servants and civil servants and state officers, whichever name you give them, are supposed to be very neutral. When you go to launch a project, it's okay, launch a project, but we hear them speaking. Okay. What utaskia, there are words they say that are very political.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mangeni, let us jump into another topic, of course. That is Alfred Mutua, the governor of Machakos, has launched his presidential bid for the 2022 succession. You look at this, do you think this is realistic? Is good as that he has promised Kenyans? Is this actually even realistic, or is this just a utopian dream?
Eugene, before I jump on Mutua, which is very interesting, on these cabinet secretaries in politics, it's important to put it in clear. Joe Msheru and CS Matiang'i have openly and publicly participated in campaign events for Raila Odinga. Joe Msheru, CS Matiang'i are sitting in planning committees for the election. This is not just the deputy president talking. This is already people preparing Kenyans to reject elections. That is what we are talking about. You know, there's a big difference between while they were in 2017 being members of the same government, campaigning for the same government, versus you are campaigning for neutrality. This is a big difference. If they better take this advice now. They don't take this advice now, they will pay for it when it comes. This is plain, it is there. However, Alfred Mutua, you know, he's a very strange guy, by the way. He's a very strange guy. Sometimes, when I was in school, I used to like his youthfulness. But I think he's taking it too far when it comes to his presidential bid. When he launched, I didn't see anything serious. Yes, it's not like I'm disrespecting him, but I didn't see anything serious from him other than just playing games. And I think Alfred Mutua is not planning to contest. I think. Honestly, I think he's not planning to contest. I think he's just trying to attract. He's dancing. You know, he's dancing and trying to attract someone to come towards his dances. But for now, his dance moves are very awkward and people are running away from him.
Mr. Gitembe.
Let me also comment something on Alfred Mutua. Let me say to my friend here that nobody is stopped from launching to become a president. We have seen many leaders come. Some have even launched bids, even others by then 2-3 days they disappear. I don't know where they go to crowds or somewhere else. So Alfred Mutua, we are very much okay. We support his bid. You get my point? All you see, as much as possible, as we said from the beginning of the show, we said Kenyans are becoming wise. They listen to which is your manifesto. If you tell us today that if I get married, a new couple sit down will be getting $500,000. Like for me, I have to plan around 3 to 4 weddings next year, at least to get 1.7 million. Of course, now this also try to tell us, as much, that's what I was saying, Oka has his own manifestos. UDA will be having its manifesto. The independent party here will be having their own manifestos. So let Kenyans decide and say which one are they willing to. But for myself and from where I sit and where I stand, I support Alfred Mutua's bid to stand as the presidential hopeful in Kenya in 2022.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for this
You
great
don't want me
conversation
to
that
comment
we've had.
on Alfred Mutua?
Okay, I'll give you a chance as you go. Okay.
No, I just wanted to say, you know, joblessness sometimes awakens some crazy ambitions in people. So these are people who are going to be jobless next year, the likes of Ojamong. There are so many governors who are going to be jobless, Joho. So everyone will always find something to keep them relevant so that they can be on the table. Like he said, these are people who are just trying to create some imaginary value that will ensure that they are also part of the conversation next year. People are jostling for positions. That's why some even will be contesting for MP, others will be contesting for the Senate. But like he said, let the people decide, and the people will decide.
Yes. Gentlemen, actually, time has cut short. I want us to give you maybe some few seconds to make final remarks even as we end the show. Mr. Mangeni, start with you.
So thank you, and I want to talk to the people of Hustler Nation, and specifically those from Mathare constituency, that we are together. I am one of you, and we are going to be there together. We are going to push the wheelbarrow to carry our problems, to carry our dreams in that wheelbarrow, and push on. And let us do it peacefully. Don't worry, don't worry. We'll do it peacefully, and we will win as Hustler Nation, as UDA, and we'll go far. Thank you.
Mr. Gitembe.
I also want to pass my greetings this evening, and I want to appreciate our viewers for joining us in this discussion. And I want to say, as I said from the beginning, Kenyans, let us be wise, because as where I stand from governance and also in business-wise, I am praying for a successful nation, a successful Kenya, where we have a good political will, because able to help us even to make businesses good and work to us. So I want to appreciate you. Let us continue to be wise. Let us continue to make decisions which help us when it comes to 2022. Let us make a varied decision which cannot make us to regret at anymore. Thank you very much.
Okay.
For me, all I want to tell Kenyans is that the first thing is that politics, even as we go to these political competitions, let's not destroy ourselves, let's not destroy our country, let's not destroy each other in the competition. Let's learn to complement each other. Let's have that mentality of all of us being winners, regardless of who wins, because our objective is the same, to take our country forward. Another thing I want to tell for the independent people, independent thinkers, I want to tell Kenyans that as we decide who to vote for, let's look for someone who is going to come with an idea that is going to better your lives. For the young people, don't just allow yourself to be used. Look at someone, let us have something for the young people on the table in terms of resources and how our lives are going to change. The rest of the other things will never change your life. Thank you.
Okay, but guys, tonight, not speaking so softly on the Azimio or Umoja, and of course, that is, it is as it is. So we are going to, of course, you probably know that when it's Friday, 8 p.m., then we always have a conversation here on the Insight with my guests, always having a panel of 3. And of course, that has been a conversation here on the Insight tonight with Eugene Ochienkwach. And on behalf of everyone who has made this a success, I want to wish you a good evening. Let's meet next Friday.